This week, I thought I would look at two songs. One, "Take It Easy on Me" by the Little River. Well, it's performed by the Little River Band. The sheet music that I got says it's by Graham Goble, Goble. I don't know if that's one of the band members or not. Sorry, I should have searched it. It probably is. Could be someone else though. And then the other song is "Please Come to Boston" by Dave Loggins. Both of these have some strumming or hand picking patterns I'm not going to try and do today. I'll just look at the chords. And as a first step, maybe next time I'll try and do the finger picking part on some of them, on the main parts. Um, the first one I'm going to look at is "Take It Easy on You." Just wanted to make sure, yeah. Uh, make sure the mic's positioned correctly. Someone commented that it wasn't very loud, so I wanted to try and keep that in mind. Okay. Um, so I'll first go through the chords. Again, this is "Take It Easy on Me." It was a big hit for Little River Band, and then I'll try and play through maybe the first verse one time. So the first chord it shows as D minor 6. You're going to put your index finger on the bottom string on the first fret, and then you're going to put, I would say, your second finger on the second fret, third string from the bottom, and you're going to strum all but the top two strings. The next chord is F. There's several different ones, but this one is you're going to use your index finger for the bottom two strings on the first fret, your second finger for the third string from the bottom on the second fret, and your ring finger for the fourth string from the bottom or third string from the top. And you're going to strum all but the top two strings again. And then the next one is a standard A chord. Hopefully you've seen that, where it's just use all the first three fingers on your hand, your index, your second and ring finger, all on the second fret. And sorry, I'm left-handed, so I always try to remember to find a angle that works. And then starting on the D string, you're going to press down on those three strings, the D string and the two below it, and then you're going to include the open A string. So for the first page, those chords repeat: the D minor 6, the F, the A. Now, after it starts, after the words come in, it alternates back and forth between D minor 6 and A. It only does the F on that intro line. Sorry, I always forget to click over here so I can use my foot pedal. By the way, if you're curious, and I'm not sponsored by anything I suggest or mention, I'm just mentioning things I've found that are helpful. A few months ago, I bought this page flip butterfly by Page Flip. So far, it's worked very well. I've tried one in the past by a different company and it didn't really work. This one is pretty nice. It keeps you from having to stop and switch pages when you're trying to practice. So it really makes a difference. So that's the first page. Let me flip through, see what other. Okay, on the second page, the standard D shows up. So you're just gonna, the easiest way to do the standard D is you're gonna take your ring finger on the third fret, second string from the bottom, and then your first and second fingers are gonna fret or press down. When people say fret, they mean press down. The bottom string and the third from the bottom string, and you're gonna strum the all but the top two strings. You're going to include that open D string. Okay. Another new chord that shows up is F sharp minor. So if it was an F minor, we would start by barring the first fret with our index finger. But since it's an F sharp, sharp means you come up one fret on a guitar anyway. At least for a bar chord. So one moment, something popped up. I just want to minimize it so I can see. If I can't see myself, I can't see if I'm giving you a good angle. Okay, there. So the sharp means we're not going to do it as normal on the first fret. We're going to come up to the second fret. Use our index finger to press down and try to grab all of them, all 6 strings. And then you're going to use your ring finger and your pinky to press down on the 4th fret, the 2nd and 3rd strings from the top. And you're going to play every string. It's a little hard, so you have to press a little hard. Okay. Now we're on the 3rd page. A standard E shows up. So you're gonna start by using your index finger on the 4th string from the top on the 1st fret, and then use your 2nd and ring finger in that order on the 2nd and 3rd strings from the top on the 2nd fret and play every string. So that's a standard E. Then they show what they're calling E sus, which means you're altering the standard E. And the easiest way to do it is, instead of moving your fingers around, use your pinky to press down on the 4th string from the top, right below your ring finger, and then play everything. And the reason I suggest doing it that way, because the very next thing they do is they go back to the standard E. So you're going to lift up your pinky, put back down your index finger, and play what you played a moment ago. So if you do it that way, you can quickly alternate. So you have the E, E sus, E. If you tried moving your fingers around, it would be hard to do that quickly. Okay. The next few chords we've already seen, but then there's a new one, B. That's just a standard B. Technically, you're supposed to take the 3 fingers you were playing for the A, move them up 2 frets, and then use your index finger to bar the 2nd fret. That's technically how you should play a B. I'm a little lazy, and I just use my index finger on the 2nd fret, and I will usually just use my ring finger to try and bar just those 3 same positions. It sounds very close, and it's helpful sometimes if you're a little slow like me and you want to make sure you do the chord transition in time. They then have one called D minor F, and they're showing this as being at the very first fret. They're grabbing the top and bottom strings, and I'm going to try and do it with my thumb on the top string. And again, I'm left-handed, so mirror me if you're right-handed. And I'm going to grab the bottom string with my index finger. And then on the 2nd fret, they're showing that they're grabbing the 3rd string from the bottom. I'm going to try and do that with my 2nd finger. And then on the 3rd fret, they're grabbing the next to bottom string. I'm going to try and do that with my pinky, because it's just going to be easier than trying to do it with my ring finger. And then try and play all of that. Okay. And that seems to be, let's see, did I make it to the main part? The only other chord that I'm seeing show up is a version of the first one we saw. We saw D minor 6, but now they're showing a D minor 6/A. Anytime you see anytime you see a slash in a letter, they're saying do this chord shape, but alter it such that you're using this other note as the bass in this case. So here, instead of doing the D minor 6 we saw before, which was this, they are doing an A, and in this case, it's easy. The open A string is the second string from the top. So all this means is normally, if it was just D minor 6, you would start here at the open D string. But since it's D minor 6 slash A, you go one string up and start with the open A string. You can hear a little bit of difference. I think that covers all of the chords. Let's see. I'll try and play through the first part one time. My throat's a little sore, so I'm probably not gonna try and do the whole thing. I'll try and go through the first couple of pages in case someone wants to try and play along. Okay. It used to be so easy to be a lover. We wandered through the days like they had no end. But now that you're gone, I'm undercover. I just can't think about you as a friend. Take it easy on me. Should be easy to see. Getting lost in the crowd. Hear me crying out loud. Just want you to know, I know that you have to go. It's all up to you, but whatever you do, take it easy on me. I'll stop there for this first try, because I think that covers most of the chords that we just went through. Next time I'll try and go a little further. The next one I wanted to look at is Please Come to Boston by Dave Loggins. I had to remember the title of this song. For some reason, I thought it was titled something about Tennessee. I think it's because maybe one of the lyrics mentions it. I'm not sure. This one is a little more challenging in terms of the chord shapes. Um, if you're just getting started learning to play guitar, the standard kind of chords we just saw are easy because you don't have to stretch your fingers that far. But you'll eventually come across chords like this where you really have to stretch. I'm a little lucky in that this guitar is only a 3/4 scale. It's a little Taylor. I forget which one. It's one of the 3/4 scales they have. I don't have huge hands. Um, some people like John Mayer have huge hands so they can easily reach as far as they want. Some of these chords can be challenging. So, but it's good to try them because it forces you to try and reach. This one, the first chord, and again, in case you want to look it up, it's called Please Come to Boston by Dave Loggins. In case I didn't mention it, I got the sheet music for these two songs off musicnotes.com. I'm not sponsored by them, but like I said, I try to mention things that will be helpful to people. Um, let's see. So the first thing you're going to do, this first chord is E flat, but it's a specific version. So you're going to, on the first fret, you're going to put your index and second finger on the second and third strings from the top on the very first fret. And then, oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Let me try that again. Actually, this is one of those chords where it's better to try and do it in the reverse order, and you'll see what I mean here in a second. So please forget what I just said. So let me make a second try. So here's how we're going to do the E flat. We're going to start by doing, we're going to go to the third fret. On the third fret, we're going to put down on the bottom string, we're going to put our ring finger. So third fret, bottom string, put your ring finger. Also, third fret, third string from the bottom, put your second finger. And then on the fourth fret, second string from the bottom, put your pinky. And the reason you're going to do that is that allows you to reach up. You have to skip the second fret, reach up all the way to the first fret, and use the very tip of your index finger to attempt to bar the second and third string from the top on the first fret, and then play everything except the top string. And it'll take some practice, and especially if you're having to do it in a song where the chord changes are rapid. Thankfully, this one isn't so rapid. So that's the first chord. The second chord is A flat. Here, it's a little easier, but you're also going to reach, but it's easier because you're going to use your pinky. So on the first fret, leave out the top two strings, use your index finger to try and bar everything but the bottom string. So don't even attempt to include the top two strings, and then use your index finger to press down the remaining strings except for the bottom one. And you can do that by like arc your index finger up at the bottom just a tad, and it'll usually do that. Then you're going to use, that's the first fret. Then you're going to use your pinky, and you're going to go all the way up to the fourth fret, bottom string on the fourth fret. And then you're going to play everything except the top two strings. Okay, so that's E flat and A flat. On the next line, they repeat those two notes, E flat and A flat. Then they show B flat 7. And we kind of saw this earlier with the sharp, but here we're going to go down. So usually a B would start on the second fret, but because it's flat, we're going to go down to the first fret. And then this is B flat 7. So instead of including all three of those strings, you're just going to use your ring and pinky fingers on the third fret to press down on the next to the bottom string with your pinky, and the fourth from the bottom or third from the top string with your ring finger. And that's the B flat 7. And then strum everything except the top string. Okay. Then we see the same A flat again. No, I'm sorry. We see the same E flat again. I was looking at the wrong line. Okay. Another new chord that shows up is C minor. There's a couple of different versions. The one they're playing here is on the first fret, third string from the bottom. I'm going to try using my index finger. And then also on the first fret, next to the bottom string, I'm going to try and use my second finger for that. And then on the third fret, I'm going to try and use my pinky on the bottom string just because it's easy. And then play everything but the top two strings. Okay. Then we see A flat again. We see E flat. We see B7, B flat 7 again. Okay. I'll quit calling them out if they're repeating again. Let's see. The only other new chord I see showing up is F F minor 7. So on the first fret, use your index finger to bar everything except the top 2 strings, and then just strum that. Leave out the top 2 strings. Okay? I think I'll stop there. Let's see. It continues on, but that's most of the chords. Yeah. The rest of the chords that show up, we've already covered except for one. And since I think this is just as far as I'm gonna try and go today, I won't throw that in for now because I don't wanna confuse you. Okay. So let me see if I can go through this one time. Sorry. Like I mentioned, my throat's bothering me, so I gotta think and see. Please come to Boston for the springtime. Staying here with friends and they've got lots of room. You can sell your paintings on the sidewalk. Sorry. At the cafe where I hope to be, I can see. Please come to Boston, she said. Won't you come home to me? She said. She said. She just. Down the boulevard, won't you settle down? Lost in nature, out of town. Ain't no gold and there ain't nobody like me. I'm the one-man found the man from Tennessee. You can see what I mean about those chords we have to reach. It's a struggle to be able to switch them. I haven't practiced it, so it'll take some time to get used to going back to forth, back and forth. But hopefully, if you like this song and are trying to learn guitar, hopefully this will be helpful to you as you get started. Maybe give it a try. I'll stop there this week. Thanks.